welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is Times Now Live and I am Hina Gambhir. Viewers, over the last few days, we have seen a debate over sudden deaths due to heart attacks and COVID vaccines, and if there is any kind of a link between both. Now, this issue, if you recall, was raised by Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah after Hassan district in Karnataka reported 23 sudden deaths in 40 days. And now we have some breaking inputs coming in on this story. Now, the expert committee that was set up by Karnataka government to check if there is any correlation between COVID vaccine and sudden deaths due to heart attacks has now concluded that there is no association between premature cardiovascular disease and a prior history of COVID infection or COVID vaccination. Now, this panel also has mentioned that there is no single cause behind the observed rise in sudden cardiac deaths. Rather, it appears to be a multifactorial issue with behavioral, genetic and environmental risks. For more, let's go across to my colleague Neha Hebale, who is going to be joining us on the broadcast for more on this particular story. Now, this in fact, committee was set up by Karnataka government only to look at if there is any kind of a correlation or not between sudden deaths and the heart attacks. And now this committee has come up with its report as well. Neha, can you take us through the key highlights here, and have we got any reaction from the Chief Minister after this report's findings came out?
Well, Hina, the question here of the correlation between the COVID vaccines and cardiovascular diseases has been a long pending one. And in fact, it was in the month of February that the Karnataka government had ordered, in fact, a probe into this matter. And now a report there has been submitted by the Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Researches and Sciences. Also, why this is so important now is because, you had the Chief Minister, of course, for a long time now suggesting that the deaths that have taken place in the state owing to the cardiovascular diseases were given to the COVID vaccine. Well, that had created a political storm. Now you have this very committee that was set up by the government itself, of course, very clearly ruling out that this could be because of the COVID vaccine that, the cardiac arrests have been going up in the state. Of course, now it remains to be seen how the government would respond to this, because even at the time that, questions were raised, not just by Kiran Majumdar-Shaw and other, in fact, important industry leaders. But the fact is that the Chief Minister went on to defend this, even then saying that there are studies that suggest that there could be a correlation. Well, this, of course, from a government-formed committee here, ruling out the possibility of any correlation there, it'll really remain to be seen how the government and particularly the Chief Minister now react to this.
Right. So clearly, questions were raised after the long statement we saw coming in from Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, and now the panel, in fact, that was set up by Karnataka government only, has now clarified that there is no correlation between both. Neha, request you to stay on with us. We have Udit Raj of the Congress Party joining us on the broadcast as well. Good evening, Mr. Udit Raj. Thank you for speaking with us here on Times Now. Doubts were raised by Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Siddaramaiah himself, and now a government-appointed panel only has concluded that there is, in a way, no correlation between sudden heart attacks and COVID vaccines. Your first reaction to this?
See, what raising doubt in the interest of public health and life of people is no wrong. And now the things have been clarified. Matter is trying to be sorted out. It's not that sweeping the issue under the carpet. And in fact, let me tell you, in social media, and of course in personal interaction, even myself have encountered many such discussion where people are doubting that this COVID vaccine is might leading the sudden collapse of many people.
Right.
And heart attack and liver.
While I completely understand your concerns, Mr. Udit Raj, because of course, when suddenly young and fit people were, dying because of heart attacks, of course, many people had that doubt in mind. But then we also had Center coming out, quoting several studies, some of them being conducted by ICMR, AIMS, etc. etc., saying that there is no correlation. Despite that, we had people, from the opposition specifically raising doubts. So I want to ask you, because now BJP has also reacted, Mr. Udit Raj. BJP says criticizing policies is one thing, but spreading fear among innocent citizens and defaming India's scientific and economic foundation for the sake of power is utterly irresponsible and unforgivable. How will you like to respond to these kind of statements, sir?
Been intention to attack the government, then of course the panel setup could have not given the report. There are panels, there are committees, there are commission which take years and months together to submit the report. You should rather appreciate the concern of Chief Minister, concern of the government. And had there been in any BJP state, and things would have been brushed aside. And not only that thing, if reports were coming in, were going against...
But my question to you, Mr. Udit Raj, is that you're talking about studies and reports. Centre was quoting reports and studies that were conducted by ICMR. But, Mr. Siddaramaiah perhaps did not want to believe these reports, is my question. And BJP is saying that you were using against public interest. You were using this to, spread fear among public on the issue of COVID vaccine, something that we saw happening during COVID as well. Remember, at that time also somebody called it a BJP vaccine, and that impacted the people of this country and the health.
I think you are anchor and a spokesperson both. Most of the time
you do not have an answer to my question. It is very convenient for you to say that you're an anchor and a spokesperson both. Is it not correct that during COVID also fake news was being spread that added to the fear of the people that vaccine is not correct when this particular vaccine only has saved the lives of millions of people? Fair enough. Mr. Udit Raj has disconnected the phone call when direct questions were asked, because remember viewers, after the long post by Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Siddaramaiah, Health Ministry also quoted a study, several studies in fact that were conducted by ICMR and by All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The doctors, people from medical fraternity also came forward and said that, these kind of statements add to fear among general public and something that is not right. We should not be doing it. There is no, correlation between heart attacks and COVID vaccine. And this is what the studies have established, studies that were conducted over a period of time. But yet we saw, doubts being raised continuously. And now you heard what Mr. Udit Raj had to say as well. BJP, like I said, has also hit out at the Congress party. Let's listen in to what Ashok Gowda had to say.
In Karnataka, day by day, the deaths related to cardiac arrest and heart attacks are rising every day. Whether it is Hassan district, Mysore district, Chamarajanagar district, Bidar district, and several places have reported that there are multiple deaths happening due to cardiac arrest. Mr. Siddaramaiah, just to escape from his own failures, is trying to blame the central government and the COVID vaccine. The reason and the study made by the expert committee clearly indicates that the consumption of liquor, consumption of the red meat are the primary reasons. Lifestyle issues are the primary reasons why these cardiac deaths are happening in Karnataka or else across the country. Governments, in Karnataka government in specific, is giving a target for excise department to sell the liquor more and more and raise their revenues. Which means that clearly Karnataka government also should be blamed for selling the liquor and causing these kind of deaths.
Let's now move on and shift our focus